Hi guys, my name is Meads. This is going to be another segment of Behind the Reviews, and today we're gonna talk about fidget spinners and how deep I got myself down the rabbit hole. But I want to make some correlations on how this thing is not that different from other groups out there, or collecting groups. And this is coming from like myself. I'm a toy collector. I've been to several groups out there within the Gundam community, the toy collecting community, and all that good stuff. So I want to share my experience with this with my viewers out there. For those who are curious or someone just getting started to it, yeah, this is the video for that. I'm still debating if whether I want to do reviews on them. I might, but there's a lot of good reviews already out there. And speaking of which, that's how I got started on this. On my Facebook feed, a friend of mine, his name is Dave. He's actually part of the Gunpla community, which, he's been on it for quite some time. So I've added him a couple of years back. But on his feed lately, I've been seeing him posting about spinners. And actually what got into me is the warp videos, which I will talk in a bit. But I've been seeing it, and when you see something your friends post, and then you hear in the media, it kind of adds up, and eventually your curiosity gets the best out of you, and you try it. So I went ahead and bought a few things, and I went to his channel and checked out his reviews. They're actually fairly good, and he checks out good deals from Amazon as well, so it makes it readily easier to get. And well, this is for the ones that are a bit more exotic in terms of the metal spinners, not just this one, because this one you can get anywhere. So I went ahead and checked out his reviews, and it sold me. Basically from then on, I started trying or buying them and trying them out. And I want to help out Dave. He's aiming to get 10,000 subscribers. Please check out his channel. I'll provide the link down below. So he got me hooked into it. So I started buying them. Actually, I started with his first recommendation, and the things I mentioned, I'm not endorsing any of that kind. For the most part, the things I review, even just on the action figures or other things, I buy with my own money. And I just want to do an honest review on things. So here we go. I started with this. I went to Spinnercraft website. So it's one of his recommendation. It's a good place to start with the plastic spinner. This one has metal balls at the ends for weights. And this is one of the design, which is like the bar shape. He has two arms. They also have this particular one. They call this, well, this one is the big baller. I also like how they name things. This is a tri-baller, has 3 arms, and you also have the hex baller, which is more of a uniform in shapes, having that more circular ones. So this is typically the shape that you'll see in the market. You get the bar shaped ones, you get the 3 arm, you got this, and sometimes there's 4 arms. Then you get then there's the more exotic ones, which we'll go over in a bit. But yeah, so the basic ones are plastic. I gave it a try. I really like it. Now these are about 10 bucks, not that expensive, and it does work as a fidget spinner, and it's fairly good quality for what it is. So I really like this. Then on that side as well, they started showing, or they have this particular one. This is what they call the executive, but I've also found out that this is made by Sea Green, and they call it C3. Seems like they work out some sort of deal, and this gets sold on different stores and gets rebranded, so it will have different names, and it is acceptable, because I'll talk about bootlegs, clones, and whatnot later on. So they have this design as well, and even on this little guy here, they call this the Secret Service because it's really small, and you can hide this on your hand relatively quick if you don't want people to notice. And it's really small, but this is another bar shaped one, but definitely quite nice. And they have different finishes on this one. I like the black one. They have the stainless steel, the brass, even the anodized, call it the rainbow one with different colors. But yeah, this is my first introduction to the metal spinners. Now the metal spinners will run you about $20 to $40. Like this one is about, well, on other store they sell this about 15, and you can see this for 20, 25. This particular shape here is about $30, $40. So it does go up in price once you start going with the metals. And going with that, he also talked about Spinatic. Now Spinatic is actually a fairly good site because aside from their own design, they partner with other designers out there. So it's like a one-stop shop if you want to try a variety of them. They have plastic spinners, but I go there for the metal ones. And starting off with, they have the eye-shaped ones. So again, a bar-shaped spinner. Now with this one, the bar-shaped one gives you a bit more wobble. You can feel it. But this does give you quite a bit of space, and this is another thing I like about this, or this how I kind of judge the spinner, how well you can flick it, you know, with your different fingers, or even your thumb here. I have small hands, so my clearance is not that big, but you know, just basically the fidgeability, as they call it. So this is the bar-shaped ones. They also have this on their side. This is called the metal jacket. Quite interesting design because this has brass and stainless steel, and it's just really unique. And you have this, I think they might have called this knurls, or the ridges here for grip. Really nice. There's also this bar-shaped one. This is from a different manufacturer or maker. This is by Flyaway Toys. They call this the Mini Falcon. It's aluminum, anodized aluminum, and have the red color. Really nice. And this is very lightweight. So that's another thing. Depending on the material you pick, it's a whole new feeling. It's crazy. So we have the metals. Not sure if I already talked about, but you have the brass. You have the stainless steel. You have something that's anodized or electroplated. And actually comparing this to, this is the stainless steel. There's a special ring to it. Then same design, but this is the electroplated, I think stainless steel or brass inside. It's a lot quieter. It's crazy. It's just depending on the plating or finish that you've picked or metal, it will give you a different feel for it. Now this one is a little different. It's by the Very Dapper by Kepler design. It's a Y shape as well, but it's different. Another thing they talk about is the hot spots. So the edges here, the more of an angle it is, you can feel it. It's like a prickly. So those are the hot spots. The Spinatic design does have a lot of them. I personally like them. It kind of gives a character to the spinner. It's a little different, but some people don't like that. They want the curved edges like this one here. So this does give you a different feel for it. Yeah, so this is a different one. I got this from Amazon. It's a medieval design, FS8 I think or something. They have a weird name to this. But this one has a brass with stainless steel buttons. Very unique looking spinner. Yeah. And I'm just gonna go over the different ones I have here. Another one from Spinatic has a forearm. And this doesn't give you much wobble compared to the eye. Another one from Amazon. This one has the rainbow weights on it. And definitely some of them are fingerprint magnets. But really cool. I think this is the Circulator by 2R Designs. It's made of brass. And this doesn't give you the wobble effect because it's uniform shape, but it does give you that gyroscopic effect, which is quite nice. I don't know if I can do the warp. You can kind of see it, like the inner section goes one way, counterclockwise, and the outside ridges goes clockwise. So it's really cool. And the warp videos, you can only do that with a camera. or your phone, and it really helps if you do it outside under the sun. Because sometimes when you do it with the bar ones, it makes it look like you're bending it like that in a way. So again, it's a lot better if it's done outside. What else I got here? So I forgot who made this one. Something with EDC. But this is the Triton Mini. You can get this from Spandex as well. This has the ceramic coated, which is, it gives you a different feel. It's a lighter as well. Maybe stainless steel inside. But yeah, it's really nice. Now, same design, but bigger. They call this a Triton B2. Stainless steel. The weights are on the edges, and this will definitely give you a lot of spin time. Following that topic, spin time. People go crazy for spin time. So typically, your normal spinner here, if you get about 2 minutes, that's about average. Hopefully you get 2 minutes. Now once you start hitting the 4-minute range, you know, that's a little bit of the above average, kind of like the spinners here. Then once you reach about 4 minutes, or over 4 minutes, like around 6 or 7, that's actually fairly good. That's your kind of like your above average spinner. Usually you typically get that with the circular ones or with a nice weight distribution outward like this one here. So definitely you're gonna get like above 5 minutes on this type of spinners. Now some people claim that they went beyond and got 16 minutes like for this particular one. I don't know what they did, but someone videotaped it and got 16 minutes out of this, out of the box. I don't know how he did it. Also, there's the force involved, you know, how much force you put into it, and that gives you more momentum. So yeah, but very interesting that you can get a lot of spin time on this. I personally don't really care much about spin time because I'm gonna be fidgeting with it. I'm not gonna be just spinning it one time and just hold to it. I mean, I could, but I'd rather just keep spinning it. So if the spinner gets 2 minutes, I'm good with that. So that's the spin time thing that people kind of look into. Other than that, I think I did mention about the hotspots already. Okay, so next part is the weight. Some people prefer the weight, and this is the heaviest one I have. This is MechForce Delta Core, but this has some weight on it. It's stainless steel, it's stone washed. Even the caps itself has some weight on it too, and you can even just spin the caps right there. It's quite crazy because on the other ones you can spin it, but it doesn't really give you much spin time. Probably within a minute it'll stop. But this guy, yeah, it has a lot of heft on it. Now this gets copied as well, so they made a cheaper version. This is made of aluminum. It is quite nice, but a lot cheaper definitely, but it doesn't have the same heft as this guy. So there's that. What else I have here? There's also this particular design. Now this one is actually one of the unique ones. It's a modular design because you can remove the weights. So if I remove this one here, this one, I can either have a bar shape one, a Y shape one, 4 arms, 6 arms, yeah. So these are actually fairly cool. Now I have a 3-arm spinner by just removing those. So that's another thing that people look into, how much you can customize the spinner. Because aside from that, you can replace the caps or the buttons. So you have this just a concave version. Then you have the cog style here. This is flat with ridges on it. Yeah, just different caps, and some of the caps, it's ridiculous depending on who made it and how it's machined. The caps range from $10 to even $50 to over $100. Yeah, I don't have a Damascus. I think they call it Damasteel. It's basically folded metal, and it makes this really nice ripples. But that's a really exotic metal, and those spinners range like over $200 to 300, even 500. I'm not that crazy or rich to get those, so I usually just stick within the $100 range for the exotic ones, and if I can find a $30-40 range, even better. And I think that's about it in terms of this. Now I want to talk about the community. So for the community, it's kind of like the Gundam community. Certain groups are they frown upon bootlegs, and for good reasons. So if you've seen a spinner that has been copied, like this one here, again, this is over $100. Some bootleggers will make the similar design for, well, with cheaper metals, and sell it for about $20 or $30. I mean, still expensive, but way cheaper than the original one. But you're cutting away from the maker. You know, they've designed that. It's their intellectual property, I guess. Is that, yeah. And you want to give credit to the artist. And kind of goes along with the toy collecting. You want to give money back to the manufacturer, or not a manufacturer, the company that designed them, because they'll make more. And if you cut away the profit, the design will stop, and it's not gonna be good. So anyways, there are groups that frown upon bootleggers, but there's also another group that don't mind. I mean, there's bootleggers out there, and people buy them because it's cheaper. I understand that people don't have the budget, and yeah, to each to its own. So there's that. Yeah, it's quite crazy for that aspect. Now, another thing I want to talk about is within the groups, they're very active, because some of the designer or the manufacturer, or just the one who designed the spinners, they're part of the group, and they will update the members if they're gonna make a certain batch. Some of the hard to get ones, they make a limited run, maybe only about 50 or 25 or 100, and once it's sold out, it's sold out. So those groups, that's when they're gonna announce if they're gonna have a drop, what they call it, drop, or basically when the things are available to order or pre-order. So that is quite interesting. Another thing that I've noticed on the groups are raffles. They call it waffles. I think there's some kind of a you can have raffles per se on those groups, but the waffles is kind of interesting. Basically, you buy in your spot, and at the end, everybody pays it off into a certain PayPal account, and after that, they'll draw the winner, and the spots are about $5. So for $5, you have a chance, and I've seen this. So one guy just bought one, and they're able to get a very expensive spinner, something in the range of $200 spinner or even more, and that is great. And I see a lot of those waffles going around the groups. Other than that, yeah, it's just a very crazy community, and or the design that goes through. It's kind of like the knife collecting. Depending on the material, depending on the design, people will buy it. And yeah, it's just fun. To be honest with you, this is not that different from toy collecting or the action figure collection, because there's just a lot of variety. And it's funny when I show this to my friends and they just kind of laugh off. And actually, during our toy talk with Vince, they just like face palming, like, why am I doing this? But it's the same way when when you see someone else talk about buying action figures. Why am I spending $50 for an action figure? Because I see more to it than what the normal person does. So that's, and again, to each to its own. I really enjoy this. I'm having fun on this, and yeah, I'm still debating whether I do some reviews on them. It's just a side thing, and definitely lots of fun to do. But anyways, that's my little spiel on to the whole spinner craze. it is fun to get into, and especially at this time right now where everybody's doing it. Otherwise, that's about it. If you got questions, let me know. I'll try my best to answer that for you. But thanks for listening in. So until then, this is Meads. Thanks for watching.